Hello, my name's Katie and I work for North Lincolnshire Council as part of the libraries team, and today I'm going to talk to you about your slow cooker that you'll receive as part of the Household Support Fund. So slow cookers are really energy efficient. Even though they take a long time to cook things, as the name suggests, slow cooker, they actually use far less energy than your oven. They're actually, in terms of energy use, comparable to an everyday light bulb, and cost approximately 16p a day to use compared to 87p a day for the cost of using your oven, which over a year will save you roughly £257, so they're super energy efficient. When you receive your slow cooker, it'll come in a box like this, and they do come with instructions. So you have a basic instruction sheet here that you can refer back to, but I'm going to go through everything today as well. The first thing you need to do is you need to wash, just with warm soapy water, the cooking pot and the lid of your slow cooker. Once you've given that a wash, then you pop that into the heating element and you're all ready to go. So now I'll just give you some safety tips to make sure that you use your slow cooker safely. So the first thing to remember is that you need to put your appliance on something that is not heat sensitive, so your worktop is perfect. To avoid over and under cooking, when you're filling the bowl it should always be filled a half to 3/4 full, and you should use the recommended cooking times. You must always cook with the lid on, and it's actually not recommended to remove the lid within the first 2 hours of cooking to allow the heat to build up. If you need to, the cooking bowl is oven proof and microwave safe, so you can remove that part and place it in the oven or the microwave, but not the lid. Make sure when you remove the bowl after cooking you always use oven gloves and be aware of steam when opening the lid. And finally, when you want to clean your bowl after cooking, make sure that you allow it to cool first. So the slow cooker has 2 heat settings and a keep warm setting on the front. So it's set to off at the moment, and I'm going to show you in a minute when we demonstrate with some food, but once your food is inside and you've plugged your slow cooker in, you can use the low setting or the high setting depending on the recipe and what you're cooking. And then there's a third setting which is to keep food warm. Now it's not recommended that you keep food warm beyond 4 hours on that setting, and you must never cook on that setting. It's not a cooking setting, it's just a setting to keep your food warm. So I'm going to just really quickly show you how easy it is to make a stew. Now this is a recipe that I have found from one of the books that we have at the library. We have loads of fantastic recipe books that you can borrow from the library, and I've just brought a couple with me today. So it's a beef stew, so the slow cooker's not plugged in or switched on. We're just going to simply lift the lid and just add all the ingredients. So I've got some meat, bacon chopped up, and this is all going straight into the bowl of the air cooker. You must never ever use the heating part to directly cook in there. It always goes inside the bowl. And then I've got some vegetables, so I've got some onions, celery, carrots, so everything's all gone in together. And then I'm just going to put some flour in with this, which will thicken it naturally, so just sprinkle in a tablespoon and a half of flour. I'm going to pop a bay leaf in there, some herbs and spices, pepper and salt, so it's all in there, there's no oil. This recipe doesn't require any pre-cooking, but you might find that some of the recipes do require you to brown the meat first, which you can do in a separate pan and then transfer it into your cooking pot. Some salt, And then I've got some liquid here that I've made up already. So this is a mixture of yeast extract, stock and tomato puree. So that's going to go in. So we just need to be mindful that we make sure that we don't overfill or underfill our slow cooker. So it needs to be between 1/4 and 3/4 full. Give that a really good stir so everything's coated with the flour and the herbs and spices. And then I'm going to pop the lid on and we can plug it in and we're ready to go. Now this recipe suggests that this should be cooked for between 6 to 8 hours on low, but if you haven't got quite as much time, then there are some conversion times for different recipes in your instruction book that will tell you what the normal recipe time is and what that would be if you were cooking it on low or high. So you've always got that to refer to as well. So I'm going to set this on low, and that's it, we're all ready to go. So remember to not lift the lid for the first 2 hours to make sure that we allow the heat to build up. It can be left unattended as long as it's safely on your worktop with no wires hanging from the edge, and then in 6 to 8 hours you'll have a delicious stew. Do remember that this part of the slow cooker will get hot, so you will need your oven gloves when it comes to lifting it out when your stew is ready. Today we've made a stew, but there are lots of other fantastic things that you can cook in your slow cooker. We've got some brilliant books in the library. You can do joints of meat, you can make soup, and you can even make puddings. So lots of things you can enjoy in your slow cooker.